The library that dreams of readers. The books still remember you. A librarian ancient, time-forgotten edifice stood on the outskirts of the city. Dust motes danced in the slivers of sunlight that pierced the grimy windows, illuminating forgotten histories. The wooden floors creaked with the ghosts of footsteps. Long past and silent aisles draped in cobwebs stretched endlessly into the quiet. This was a place no one sought anymore, a sanctuary forsaken, yet within its walls, the books continued their nightly dreams. Each volume, a vessel of stories, longed for a reader, a touch, a gaze. One particular old book, its cover faded, its pages brittle. With age, yearned for the delicate hands of the little girl who had once held it so tenderly. It remembered the faint scent of lavender soap on her skin, the gentle rustle of her dress as she turned its pages, and the soft sigh she emitted as she delved deeper into its narrative. Every night, in the profound silence of the forgotten library, this book would relive those moments, a wistful memory of a connection severed by time. Another book, its spine worn from countless readings, recalled the final solemn nod of an elderly gentleman, a fervent patron of its tales, who had whispered a quiet goodbye, a promise to return that was never kept. This book held not just the adventures within its chapters, but the weight of that unfulfilled promise, the echo of a life's end intertwined with its own existence. It bore the imprints of his thumb on its margins, the faint, sweet smell of his pipe tobacco lingering on its pages, each a testament to a bond that transcended mere words. The library, in its entirety, was a colossal archive of memory, silently cradling untold narratives and the quiet passage of time, a repository of human experience suspended in the amber of forgottenness. Within these quiet confines, each book possessed a unique memory, a distinctive imprint of the human spirit. There was the well-thumbed poetry collection that remembered the ardent sighs of young lovers. The heavy tome on philosophy recalled the furrowed brow of a scholar. Children's picture books, vibrant even in their fading colors, remembered sticky fingers, delighted giggles, and innocent wonder. These weren't just objects, they were sentient entities, each holding a fragment of the human story, a piece of a soul that had once found solace, knowledge, or joy within its covers. The dust that settled on them wasn't just inert matter, it was the accumulated residue of countless breaths, whispered secrets and unspoken dreams, transforming the very air of the library into a thick, palpable essence of memory. The very architecture of the library seemed to breathe with these memories. The high, vaulted ceilings seemed to hum with forgotten lectures and hushed conversations. The stained glass windows, despite their dimness, still held the faint shimmer of long-gone sunsets and dawns. The worn steps of the grand staircase bore the depressions of thousands of ascending and descending feet, each step a subtle echo of a journey taken. Even the ambient light filtering through the dust-laden air seemed imbued with a contemplative, nostalgic glow, as if illuminating not just the present space, but the very fabric of the past. The silence here was not an absence of sound, but a profound, resonant presence, a symphony of quiet longing, a chorus of forgotten whispers, a constant, gentle hum of existence waiting to be reawakened. Then, one languid afternoon, an adult male, now a man shaped by the city's relentless pace, found himself drawn back to this forgotten sanctuary. His steps, tentative at first, then more assured, echoed through the vast, empty halls. He wasn't sure what impelled him, what forgotten thread pulled him back to this quiet mausoleum of knowledge. Perhaps it was the whisper of a childhood memory, a fleeting image of a sunbeam on a page, or the half-forgotten scent of old paper and dust. He wandered through the labyrinthine aisles, his fingers grazing the spines of forgotten authors, a subtle tremor running through him as he reconnected with a past he had, perhaps unknowingly, suppressed. Guided by an unseen force, his gaze landed upon a particular book or volume he hadn't thought of in decades. Its title, once so prominent, was now obscured by time and neglect. but something about its form, its specific placement on the shelf, ignited a spark of recognition. With a slow, deliberate movement, he pulled the book from its dusty perch. The faint puff of disturbed dust, caught in the filtered light, seemed like a sigh, a gentle exhalation from the library itself. As his fingers closed around the worn cover, a jolt, an almost electric current coursed through him, a bridge reconnecting his present to his distant past. He cradled the book, its weight familiar, comforting, yet imbued with an almost mystical significance. He opened the book, the brittle pages rustling like dry leaves in an autumnal breeze, a sound that seemed amplified in the profound silence of the library. As he did, a flood of forgotten scenes, vivid and tangible, began to unfurl from within its pages. Not just the narrative of the book itself, but the memories of his younger self sitting in this very space, engrossed in its story. He saw the light of a different afternoon, felt the warmth of the sun on his face, heard the distant hum of a city that had long since changed. He remembered the innocent curiosity of his youth, the way he would lose himself for hours in these printed worlds. Far from the demands and anxieties of adulthood, each word, each line became a conduit, transporting him back to a time of pure, unadulterated wonder. A period when the world was a boundless realm of discovery, and this library, his personal universe. The library, a silent witness to countless moments of human connection, responded to this reawakening. It seemed to draw a quiet breath, a collective sigh of relief and contentment. The stillness that had permeated its very being began to ripple, not with sound, but with an almost palpable energy. The dust motes, once dancing aimlessly, seemed to swirl with a renewed purpose. The creaks of the floorboards, no longer melancholic, became soft, whispers of welcome. The very air grew thick with a subtle warmth, a feeling of dormant life stirring from a long slumber. It was as if the books, the shelves, the very walls had been holding their breath, waiting for this very moment of reconnection, for the return of a soul that understood their silent language. Books, in their silent dignity, do not speak. Yet, the act of a hand reaching out, of fingers turning a page, of eyes tracing the lines of text, bestows upon them their very reason for being. This simple, profound interaction is the breath of life for a book, the fulfillment of its purpose. Without this interaction, a book remains a mere object, a collection of paper and ink. But with it, it transforms into a living entity, a conduit for ideas, emotions, and memories. It is in this act of reading that a book transcends its physical form and achieves its true essence: to inform, to inspire, to connect. And so the library, a guardian of these silent storytellers, continues its patient vigil, waiting. It waits with an enduring hope for even a single reader to step across its threshold, to retrieve a forgotten volume, and to once again read it back to life.